please believe me. I swear I didn't do it. I would never do such a thing. I promise. Please believe me, officers.
I believe you, my daughter.
Daddy did it! He did it!
I believe you, my daughter.
He did it!
The billionaire's daughter falsely accused her father's driver. 3 years later, he came back for everything. Marcus was coming out of the bathroom when the door opened. He froze. Vanessa was standing there, staring at him. He grabbed his towel fast and stepped back. "Miss Vanessa, you need to leave," he said, "right now." She didn't leave. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. Marcus felt his heart start pounding. This wasn't the first time. 2 weeks ago, she had cornered him in the hallway. Last week, she had tried to touch him in the garage. Every time he had walked away, every time she had smiled like it was a game. "You need to go," he said firmly. "I work for your father. This isn't right." Vanessa took a step toward him. "Or what?" she said softly. "Or I go straight to Mr. Harrison," Marcus said. "Please leave." She stopped. Her expression changed. Something cold moved through her eyes. "You're really saying no to me?" she said. "I'm asking you to leave my room," Marcus said. She looked at him for a long moment, then she turned and walked out. The door clicked shut behind her. Marcus stood there in the silence and felt something he couldn't explain in his chest. Not relief. Something more like warning. He should have gone to Mr. Harrison that night. He didn't. That was the biggest mistake of his life. The next morning, Marcus was in the kitchen getting coffee when he heard the screaming. "Vanessa!" Coming from upstairs, he tried. He wouldn't stop. I told him no. Marcus put down his cup. His whole body understood what was happening before his mind caught up. Staff came running from every direction. Mr. Harrison came down the stairs in his robe, moving fast. Marcus walked toward the sound, and when he turned the corner, Vanessa was standing in the hallway in a robe, hair everywhere, tears pouring down her face. The moment she saw Marcus, she pointed. "Him," she said. "He came into my room last night. He wouldn't leave. He forced himself on me." The hallway went completely silent. Mr. Harrison looked at Marcus. Every pair of eyes in that hallway looked at Marcus. "Sir," Marcus said. His voice was completely steady. "That is a lie. She came to my room last night. I asked her to leave. She left. Nothing else happened. That is the truth." Mr. Harrison looked at his daughter. Vanessa looked at the floor and cried harder. Mr. Harrison called the police. They arrested Marcus in the driveway, in front of every member of staff, in handcuffs. He didn't fight. He didn't shout. He kept his head up and walked to the police car and got in. The whole way to the precinct, he kept thinking one thing: the cameras. Mr. Harrison had cameras all over that estate. Marcus had seen them himself, in the hallways, in the garage, near the staff quarters. The cameras would show what actually happened. The cameras would show Vanessa walking to his room. He just had to wait for them to check the cameras. His best friend Deja came to the precinct within an hour. She sat across from him in the visiting room and he told her everything. She listened to every word without interrupting. When he finished, she said 3 words. "I believe you." Not "I want to believe you." Not "let me think about it." "I believe you." Marcus exhaled for the first time since the morning. "The cameras, Deja," he said. "He has cameras everywhere on that estate. If they check the footage, then we need to make sure they check it," Deja said. His attorney raised the cameras in court. Mr. Harrison's legal team produced documentation showing technical malfunction. The footage from the relevant night was unavailable. Marcus sat at the defendant's table and understood what had happened. Mr. Harrison had watched the footage. He had seen exactly what it contained. And he had chosen his daughter anyway. Subscribe right now, bestie, if you are new here, because this story is only getting started. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. USA, Canada, UK, Australia, let me know. Hit that like button, and let's continue. The trial lasted 4 days. Vanessa testified beautifully, coached perfectly, composed perfectly, devastated perfectly. Marcus testified truthfully. The jury looked at Vanessa. The jury made their decision before deliberations began. Guilty, 20 years. Eligible for parole after 3. Marcus heard the sentence and looked at the ceiling. He breathed carefully for 15 seconds. Then they cuffed him and walked him out. His mother was in the gallery. She reached out and grabbed his hand for 1 second as they walked him past. Just 1 second. He couldn't look back at her face. He kept walking. His girlfriend Ashley came to see him 3 weeks after sentencing. She sat across from him in the visiting room. She looked like she hadn't slept. "I believe you," she said. "Now," he said quietly. She looked at her hands. "I'm sorry, Marcus." "It's okay," he said. It wasn't okay, but he needed his energy for other things. Ashley came 2 more times over the next few months. Then she stopped coming. Marcus understood. He focused. Deja came every single month. Every month for 3 years, without missing once. She drove to the facility outside Atlanta and sat across from him and talked to him like a person. Brought news, asked what he needed. Made him laugh sometimes, which felt impossible, but she managed it. In month 14, she said something that made him go completely still. "I applied for a job," she said. "Where?" he said. She looked at him. "Deja," he said slowly. "Cleaning staff," she said. "At the Harrison estate. They posted the vacancy online." "No," he said immediately. "I already got the job," she said. And Deja, "Marcus, the footage exists," she said, leaning forward. "Your attorney said Harrison has a private computer in his home office. If the footage was on those cameras, it's somewhere on that computer. Maybe deleted, maybe in a recycle bin, maybe on a drive somewhere." She held his gaze. "Harrison has a birthday party for Vanessa every year. Open bar. He always drinks too much." She paused. "I just need one opportunity to get into that office. If they catch you, they won't catch me. You don't know that." "Marcus," she said quietly, "you're sitting in here for something you didn't do. I'm not going to sit outside and watch that happen." He looked at this woman who had come every single month, who had never once looked at him like a prisoner, who had been his best friend since they were 12 years old in Decatur. "Be careful," he said finally. "Always," she said. Deja started the following Monday. She was invisible the way household staff learned to be invisible. She cleaned. She watched. She learned every room in that house. She noted where the cameras were, where Mr. Harrison spent his time, which rooms were accessible. She found the home office on her third day locked. She watched and waited. 4 months after she started, Vanessa's birthday party arrived. 200 guests, open bar, music until 2 in the morning. Deja worked the whole party, serving and clearing without drinking a single drop. By midnight, Mr. Harrison and Vanessa were both deep in the kind of drinking that comes with unlimited expensive alcohol and no consequences. By 1:45, Deja was standing outside the home office, locked. She needed a key. She had one idea. She waited until Mr. Harrison stumbled upstairs. She gave him 20 minutes. Then she walked quietly to his bedroom door. It was slightly open. She could hear his breathing already slow and heavy. She pushed the door open 1 inch, 2 inches. Enough to see the desk beside the bed. Spare key on the corner. She crossed the room in 6 steps, took the key, crossed back. She stood outside the bedroom for a long moment listening to his breathing. Then she went to the office. The key worked. She sat at his computer. Her hands were shaking. She noted the shaking and told it to stop. She searched. Main drive first, documents, video files, archived folders. She used the date range Marcus had told her. 3 years ago, summer, nothing in the main drive. She checked the recycle bin. There, one video file, date stamped, the exact date. She opened it. She watched 8 seconds. 8 seconds was enough. Her hands were shaking again as she pulled out her phone and began recording the screen. That was when she heard footsteps in the hallway. She was under the desk before the footsteps reached the door. The door opened. Mr. Harrison. He stood in the doorway for a moment. She could hear his breathing, smell the whiskey. He exhaled, walked to the desk, sat down. Deja pressed herself against the back of the desk space. Her knees were against her chest. She did not breathe. Mr. Harrison sat for 2 minutes. Then he stood up, walked out. Deja waited 7 minutes before she moved, counting every second. She got up. She found the file again. She recorded the whole thing this time. Then she pulled out a USB drive and copied the file directly. She uploaded the recording to 3 cloud accounts from her phone. She sent it to 2 email addresses. She took a photo of the key and put it back exactly where she found it. She walked out of the office. She went to her room in the staff quarters. She sat on her bed. She shook for 5 minutes. Then she stopped. She called Marcus's mother. "I have it," she said. "Don't you dare click away now, bestie. This is where everything turns. Hit that like button. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from. This story is about to go somewhere that will make your jaw drop. Let's finish it." The next morning, Mr. Harrison left early for work. Deja went back to the office. She used the spare key she had kept. She connected a second USB drive. She started copying the original file directly from the computer. Her elbow knocked the glass on the edge of the desk. It hit the floor. The sound echoed through the quiet house. She froze. Downstairs, Vanessa was having breakfast. Footsteps on the stairs. Deja was under the desk again. Vanessa pushed the door open. "Hello?" Her voice sharp. "Who's in here?" She walked in, saw the broken glass. Her face went tight. "Security!" She shouted into her phone. "Dad's office right now. Someone's been in here." Deja came out from under the desk. Vanessa spun around. Her expression went through 3 things in 2 seconds. Surprise, recognition, contempt. "You," Vanessa said, "the cleaner. What are you doing in my father's office?" Deja stood up straight. She looked at Vanessa Harrison. She thought about Marcus in that courtroom, looking at the ceiling, taking 15 careful breaths. She thought about Dorothy Webb, reaching for her son's hand for 1 second as they walked him past. "My name is Deja Williams," she said. "Marcus Webb is my best friend." You remember Marcus. The contempt left Vanessa's face immediately. Something much more frightened replaced it. "Get out," Vanessa said. Her voice had changed completely. "I have the footage," Deja said. "Everything that happened in the staff quarters 3 years ago. Everything your father watched and deleted." She held up her phone. "I've already uploaded it to 3 cloud accounts and sent it to 2 email addresses. If anything happens to me or this phone, the footage goes to every news outlet in Atlanta, New York, and Washington, D.C. automatically." She paused. "I set that up before I came into this room." Vanessa stared at her. "You're bluffing," she said. "You want me to describe the first 8 seconds?" Deja said. The color left Vanessa's face completely. The security guard appeared in the doorway. "Don't touch me," Deja said pleasantly, "or this footage is on the news in 30 minutes. Your choice." The guard looked at Vanessa. Vanessa raised her hand to stop him. She looked at Deja with the expression of someone who had gotten everything they wanted for 23 years and was experiencing something entirely new. "What do you want?" she whispered. $2 million for Marcus," Deja said, "transferred to an escrow account in his name. And your father goes to the DA's office with the footage and a full retraction. Everything. His record cleared. Completely." Vanessa stared at her. $2 million is nothing compared to what your father's worth," Deja said. "And you know it." Vanessa's hands were trembling slightly. "I need to call my father," she said. "Call him," Deja said. "I'll wait." "Mr." Harrison arrived home at 11:15. He walked into the living room. Deja was sitting on the sofa with a cup of coffee. He looked at Deja. He looked at Vanessa. He looked back at Deja. He read the room in 4 seconds. "How much?" he said. $2 million for Marcus," Deja said. "Escrow account. And you go to the DA's office with everything, the footage, full retraction, his record completely cleared." Mr. Harrison was quiet. "The obstruction charge is your problem," Deja said, "not mine." He looked at his daughter. Vanessa looked at the floor. Something moved through Mr. Harrison's face. Not quite remorse. The expression of a man understanding that the most expensive thing he had ever done was put a video file in the recycle bin 3 years ago instead of deleting it properly. 24 hours, he said. 12, Deja said. After 12, the footage goes out regardless. He looked at her for a long moment. He nodded. He went to his office. He made calls. Marcus received a visit from a new attorney the following morning. The attorney explained what had happened. He explained what Mr. Harrison had agreed to. He explained what would happen next. Marcus sat across from him and listened to everything. When the attorney finished, Marcus was quiet for a moment. "Who did this?" he said. The attorney smiled slightly. "Ms. Williams asked me to tell you something," he said. "What?" "She said I told you I'd handle it. Stop acting surprised." Marcus put his face in his hands. He stayed like that for a while. When he looked up, his eyes were wet. "Tell her I'll see her at the gate," he said. He was released on a Tuesday morning in March. He walked out with his paper bag, his dead phone, his $43, his watch from his mother. He stopped outside the gates. He breathed. He looked at the sky. Then he heard his name. Deja was 20 feet away, leaning against her car, with her arms crossed, trying very hard to look like this was nothing. Marcus walked to her. He stood in front of her. "Deja," he said. "Don't," she said. You don't need to say anything." "You hid under that man's desk twice," he said. "Twice," she confirmed. "You sat across from Richard Harrison and asked for $2 million. "Someone had to," she said. He looked at this woman. "Thank you," he said. "Stop," she said. But her eyes were wet. He pulled her into a hug, and she grabbed him back with the specific hold of someone who has been waiting to do exactly this for a very long time. The civil case took 8 months. Marcus's attorney went after everything. Not just the $2 million from the escrow. The damage, the 3 years, what it cost a man to have his life destroyed by a lie, told by someone with the power to make it stick. Richard Harrison's attorneys fought hard. Marcus's attorney fought harder. The settlement was sealed, but the terms included a public statement from Richard Harrison, acknowledging that he had possessed evidence at trial that would have materially affected the outcome. Not a full admission, but on the record. In Atlanta, where his reputation was his currency, that statement cost him more than money. Vanessa's criminal case moved slowly. Her attorneys were excellent and expensive and creative. 14 months after Marcus's release, Vanessa stood in a courtroom in Atlanta and was sentenced to 18 months supervised release, 200 hours community service, and a permanent record. She did not go to prison. Marcus had not needed her to go to prison. He had needed the record to exist. The lie documented officially permanently in a place nobody could move to a recycle bin. He got that. Mr. Harrison resigned from 3 board positions in the months that followed. His name came off 2 buildings. The charity dinners and social events reduced significantly. He did not lose everything, but he lost enough. Ashley came to see Marcus 6 months after his release. She came to the office of Marcus Webb Transportation Solutions in Midtown Atlanta. She looked at what he had built and said, "I'm proud of you." "Thank you," he said. "I should have believed you," she said. "Yes," he said. "You should have." She looked at him. "Is there any chance?" she started. "No," he said, simply and completely. She nodded. She stood to leave. She turned back once. "Deja is good for you," she said. "I can see it." "I know," he said. She left. Marcus sat at his desk for a moment. Then he picked up his phone and called Deja. "You busy?" he said. "Depends," she said. "Why?" "I want to take you to dinner," he said. "A real one?" A pause. "Marcus Webb," she said. "Are you asking me on a date?" "I'm asking you on a date," he said. Another pause. "It took you long enough," she said. He laughed. "The real kind. The full kind." "I'll pick you up at 7, he said. "Don't be late," she said. "Have I ever been late?" he said. She laughed and hung up. 1 year after his release, Marcus Webb Transportation Solutions had 12 drivers, 3 corporate contracts, and a waiting list. Deja ran operations. She had not been asked. She had appeared one morning with a laptop and a spreadsheet, and Marcus had moved his things over without discussion, because some things don't need discussing. Dorothy Webb had opinions. She expressed them at Sunday dinner directly. "When are you making it official?" she said to Marcus over pot roast. "Mama," Marcus said. "She's right there," Dorothy said. "Ask her now." Marcus looked at Deja. Deja looked at the pot roast. "Soon," Marcus said. Dorothy pointed her fork at him. "Soon means a date." He gave her a date. 3 months later, on a Saturday evening in September, Marcus and Deja got married in Dorothy Webb's backyard in Decatur, Georgia. 40 people. String lights in the trees, a cake Deja's mother made, a speaker that kept cutting out at the wrong moments and made everyone laugh every time it did. Marcus stood under those lights and watched Deja walk across the grass toward him. He thought about a Tuesday morning in March, standing outside prison gates, looking at the sky. He thought about 3 years of planning. He thought about a woman who had hidden under a desk twice. She reached him. She looked up at him. "You okay?" she said quietly. "Yeah," he said, "I'm good." She smiled. He smiled back. Dorothy Webb in the front row finally allowed herself to cry. And that is where this story ends. Not in a prison cell, not in a courtroom, not under a desk with your heart pounding, but in a backyard in Decatur on a September evening with string lights and cake and music that kept cutting out. Marcus Webb spent 3 years in prison for something he did not do because a powerful man's daughter pointed at him in a hallway, and her father chose to bury the truth. He lost 3 years. He lost Ashley. He lost his job and his freedom. He did not lose Deja. He did not lose Dorothy. He did not lose the specific quality of himself that made him walk out of those gates with his head up and look at the sky. And Vanessa Harrison, who had spent 23 years inside the invulnerability of wealth, discovered that there are limits to what money can manage. Her record is permanent. Her father's name is off 2 buildings. And somewhere in Atlanta, there is a transportation company run by 2 people who built it from the wreckage of a lie and everything that came after. Now I want to speak to you directly. If you watched this entire story, if you felt Marcus's stillness when that verdict was read, if you held your breath when Deja was under that desk, if you stood up inside when she said $2 million without flinching, if you smiled in that backyard in September, then this channel was made for you. Subscribe right now. Hit the like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that the truth always comes out. Drop a comment and tell me where you are watching from. I want to hear from everyone in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, and everywhere else in this world. And one final thing. If you watched this entire story and you don't subscribe, don't like, don't comment, and don't share, that silence puts you on Vanessa's side. It means you are comfortable with a young woman who pointed at an innocent man and sent him to prison for 3 years because he said no to her. It means you are comfortable with a father who watched the truth on a screen and put it in the recycle bin. We know that is not who you are. So hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, share this story, because Marcus deserves to be heard, and Excel Stories will keep bringing you more. Thank you for watching.